We have massive breaking news right now. A Trump-appointed federal judge has recently blocked the administration's ability to send the National Guard into Portland, Oregon. And the way this judge did it, folks, is stunning. She slams Donald Trump personally. She slams the administration. And she rejects the administration's arguments in support of sending in the United States military into Portland, Oregon. I need to break this entire ruling down for you because it not only blocks the National Guard from going to Portland, but it sets the stage for a judge in Illinois to block the deployment to Chicago and potentially elsewhere. And we're going to talk about that. So make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to spread the word. So Judge Karen Immergut was appointed by Donald Trump during his first term. She was confirmed by the United States Senate. She was a Trump appointee, and she just ruled that Donald Trump's deployment of the National Guard is essentially unlawful. And the way she issued this opinion is more stunning than people realize, because she ruled that Donald Trump's call-up of the National Guard was based on false claims about civil unrest in Portland, saying that Donald Trump's own statements were, quote, simply untethered to the fact. Here, I want to read you this exact quote from the opinion issued just minutes ago. Here, this court concludes that the president did not have a, quote, colorable basis to invoke Section 12406, subsection 3, to federalize the National Guard because the situation on the ground belied an inability of federal law enforcement officers to execute federal law. The president's determination was simply untethered to the facts. She went on to issue a stark warning that Donald Trump is actively trying to make up and engage in bad faith justifications to call up the Guard, and that Donald Trump's bad faith actions risked plunging the country into a form of unconstitutional military rule. Guys, I need you to listen to this. Furthermore, this country has a long-standing tradition of resistance to government overreach, especially in the form of military intrusion into civil affairs. That tradition has deep roots in our history and found early expression, for example, in the constitutional provisions for civilian control of the military. This historical tradition boils down to a simple proposition. This is a nation of constitutional law, not martial law. Defendants have made a range of arguments that, if accepted, risk blurring the lines between civil and military federal power to the detriment of this nation. Judge Immergut went on to say, quote, in sum, the president is entitled to a great level of deference in his determination that he is unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. But a, quote, great level of deference is not equivalent to ignoring the facts on the ground. As the Ninth Circuit articulated, courts must review the president's determination to ensure that it reflects a colorable assessment of the facts and law within a range of honest judgment. Here, the court concludes that the president did not have a colorable basis to send in the National Guard. An absolutely scathing ruling from this administration's own appointed judge. A judge that determined that Donald Trump's statements were not conceived in good faith, determining that the president's statements and the president's determination was simply untethered to the facts. Let that sink in for a second. A Trump-appointed judge just rejected Donald Trump's attempt to send the Guard into Portland and said that if she allowed this to happen, it would move the country closer to an unconstitutional military rule akin to martial law. That is a significant warning, one that everyone watching this must heed, because it comes at a time where Donald Trump is not just trying to send the Guard into Portland. He's trying to send the Guard into other cities across America. And today we learn that he is going to send 300 members of the National Guard to Chicago. Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary, already told Pete Hegseth that she wants these troops on the ground in Chicago. And essentially, they're just waiting for the order to be signed. Once the order is signed, the go-ahead will be given and troops could be on the ground in Chicago by weekend's end. But this ruling from Judge Karen Immergut sets the stage for another ruling in Illinois. It sets the stage from an Illinois judge to reject Donald Trump's ability to deploy the National Guard into Chicago, blocking his deployment to Chicago. It sets the stage for any judge across the country to do the same. And while this is a temporary ruling, it's one that's only in place right now for 14 days. It will likely be extended, and Trump will try to appeal to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and then again possibly to the United States Supreme Court if he loses in front of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. But I'll just say this, for a Trump-appointed judge to come out swinging like this, it just shows how far off base this administration's policies actually are. And it comes at a point in our nation where we are literally seeing the United States military being turned on American citizens. As media personnel, it's up to us to not normalize this behavior. It is not normal to watch military personnel deployed on American soil against American civilians. That is far from normal. It is not normal to see ICE rip families apart, zip tying children, separating children from their mothers. That is not normal. None of this is normal. And it is not normal for Donald Trump to tell the United States military that it must arrest individuals for burning the American flag when that is not a crime. That is constitutionally protected First Amendment speech. And yet, there are some in the media that normalize this behavior, that whitewash their reporting because they're afraid of what this White House can and will do to them. Lawsuits will be filed, investigations will be issued. This is what the White House wants, a crackdown on the First Amendment, a crackdown on speech. And they're using the military to pursue that crackdown. And while judges, even Trump-appointed judges, say, sir, that is illegal. You cannot go ahead with your plan. It will not stop the administration from doing it. They will continue to do it. They will continue to push the bounds of the United States Constitution, of the law in our country, to see how far they can go before they get significant pushback from you, the American people. So if you're watching this, heed my warning. Do not normalize this behavior. Do not allow it to continue, and spread the truth right now. And the truth is, the Trump administration tried to send in the troops on American citizens in Portland, Oregon. And the truth is, a Trump-appointed judge, not a Biden-appointed judge, not a Democrat-backed judge, a Trump-appointed judge just said no. You're not allowed to do it. If you're watching this, make sure to spread the word, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon for more.